magic word. Here in the secret kindergarten, the world's best show for kids is starting. The Secret Kindergarten Radio Show. Use your ears and your imagination. We're going to play, we're having fun. The Magic Secret Kindergarten on the Revolution Radio Station.
Welcome back to the Secret Kindergarten. I'm your host, Gino. And we are going to read some poems, tell you a story. And what else are we going to do? Share an activity idea with you? So it's all go. And we're going to start with a poem called I Saw a Ship Sailing. I saw a ship a-sailing on the sea. Her masts were of the shining gold, her deck of ivory, and sails of silk as soft as milk, and silver shrouds had she. And round about her sailing the sea was sparkling white. The waves all clapped their hands and sang to see so fair a sight. They kissed her twice, they kissed her thrice, and murmured with delight. Then came the gallant captain and stood upon the deck, in velvet coat and ruffles white, without a spot or speck, and diamond rings and triple strings of pearls around his neck. And 24 sailors were round him bowing low. On every jacket 3 times 3 gold buttons in a row, and cutlasses down to their knees. They made a goodly show. And then the ship went sailing, a-sailing over the sea. She dived beyond the setting sun, but never back came she, for she found the lands of the golden sands, where the pearls and diamonds be. Straight into another poem. This poem is called Open All the Cages. Open all the cages, let the parrots fly, green and gold and purple parrots, streaming up the sky. Open all the cages, let the parrots out, screeching, squawking parrots swooping happily about. Open all the cages, set the parrots free. Flocks of parrots flapping homewards, south across the sea. Silent trees in silent forests long for parrots. So, open all the cages. Let the parrots go. And now it's woo-woo story time. The following undoubtedly true story was written by a commercial photographer of Minneapolis. She is the elder sister of little Anne, and up to the time of the incident, neither she nor any of the family believed in or knew anything of the doctrine of rebirth. The article appeared in the American magazine of July 1915. That's a long time ago, everybody. That's 109 years. Oh, I don't know. 109 years ago. Yes, I've got good maths. Here we go. Anne, my little half-sister, younger by 15 years, was a strange little mite from the beginning. She did not even look like any member of the family we ever heard of, for she was dark almost to swarthiness, while the rest of us were all fair, showing our Scotch-Irish ancestry unmistakably. As soon as she could talk in connected sentences, she would tell herself fairy stories, and just for the fun of the thing, I would take down her murmurings with my pencil in my old diary. I was in charge of her, my mother being a very busy woman, and I was very proud of her. These weavings of fancy were never of the usual type that children's fairy tales take, for, in addition to the childish imagination, there were bits of knowledge in them that a baby could not possibly have absorbed in any sort of way. Another remarkable thing about her was that everything she did she seemed to do through habit. And, in fact, such was her insistence, although she was never able to explain what she meant by it. If you could have seen the roistering air with which she would lift her mug of milk when she was only 3 and gulp it down at one quaffing, you would have shaken with laughter. This particularly embarrassed my mother, and she reproved Anne repeatedly. The baby was a good little soul, and would seem to try to obey, and then, in an absent-minded moment, would bring on another occasion for mortification. "I can't help it, Mother," she would say over and over again, tears in her baby voice. "I've always done it that way." So many were the small incidents of her habits of speech and thought, and her tricks of manner and memory, that finally we ceased to think anything about them. And she herself was quite unconscious that she was in any way different from other children. One day, when she was 4 years old, she became very indignant with Father about some matter, and, as she sat curled up on the floor in front of us, announced her intention of going away forever. "Back to heaven where you came from?" Oh, no, this is Father speaking. "Back to heaven where you came from?" inquired Father with mock seriousness. She shook her head. "I didn't come from heaven to you," she asserted with that calm conviction to which we were quite accustomed now. "I went to the moon first, but you know about the moon, don't you? It used to have people on it, but it got so hard that we had to go." This promised to be a fairy tale, so I got my pencil and diary. "So," my father led her on, "you came from the moon to us, did you?" "Oh no," she told him in casual fashion. "I have been here lots of times. Sometimes I was a man, and sometimes I was a woman." She was so serene in her announcement that my father laughed heartily, which enraged the child, for she particularly disliked being ridiculed in any way. I was, she maintained indignantly. "Once I went to Canada when I was a man. I remember my name even." "Oh, pooh-pooh," he scoffed. "Little United States girls can't be men in Canada. What was your name that you remember so well?" She considered a minute. "It was Licious Faber," she ventured, then repeated it with greater assurance. "That was it, Licious Faber! She ran the sounds together so that this was all I could make of it. And the name so stands in my diary today. Licious Faber. And what did you do for a living, Licious Faber, in those early days? My father then treated her with the mock solemnity, befitting her assurance and quieting her nervous little body. I was a soldier. She granted the information triumphantly. And I took the gates. That was all that is recorded there, over and over again. I remember we tried to get her to explain what she meant by the odd phrase, but she only repeated her words and grew indignant with us for not understanding. Her imagination stopped at explanations. We were living in a cultured community, but although I repeated the story to inquire about the phrase, as one does tell stories of beloved children, no one could do more than conjecture its meaning. Someone encouraged my really going further with the matter, and for a year I studied all the histories of Canada I could lay my hands on, for a battle in which somebody took the gates, all to no purpose. Finally, I was directed by a librarian to a documentary history. I suppose it is. A funny old volume with the S's like F's, This was over a year afterward, and when I had quite lost hope of running my phrase to earth. It was a quaint old book, interestingly picturesque in many of its tales, but I found one bit that put all the others out of my mind. It was a brief account of the taking of a little walled city by a small company of soldiers. A distinguished feat of some sort, yet of no general importance. A young lieutenant with his small band. The phrase leapt to my eyes. Took the gates. And the young lieutenant was Aloysius Lefebvre. So what do you think of that? Do you think that's a bit spooky? Do you think it's spooky that some of you kids remember that you were somebody else before you were that kid? Pretty amazing. A little bit spooky. I think it's super cool. And that was the end of Woo Woo Story Time. I'm going to get someone else to read you a story. This one's called The Old Woman and Her Pig.
The Old Woman and Her Pig, from How to Tell Stories to Children and Some Stories to Tell by Sarah Cohn Bryant. It happened one day that as an old woman was sweeping her house, she found a little crooked sixpence. "What," said she, "shall I do with this little sixpence? I will go to market and buy a little pig." On the way home she came to a stile, but the piggy wouldn't go over the stile. So she left the piggy and went on a little further till she met a dog. She said to him, "Dog, dog, bite pig. Piggy won't go over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the dog wouldn't bite piggy. A little further on she met a stick. So she said, "Stick, stick, beat dog. Dog won't bite pig. Piggy won't go over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the stick wouldn't beat the dog. A little further on she met a fire. So she said, "Fire, fire, burn stick. Stick won't beat dog. Dog won't bite pig. Piggy won't get over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the fire wouldn't burn the stick. A little further on she met some water. So she said, "Water, water, quench fire. Fire won't burn stick. Stick won't beat dog. Dog won't bite pig. Piggy won't get over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the water wouldn't quench the fire. A little further on she met an ox. So she said, "Ox, ox, drink water. Water won't quench fire. Fire won't burn stick. Stick won't beat dog. Dog won't bite pig. Piggy won't get over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the ox wouldn't drink the water. A little further on she met a butcher, so she said, "Butcher, butcher, kill ox. Ox won't drink water. Water won't quench fire. Fire won't burn stick. Stick won't beat dog. Dog won't bite pig. Piggy won't get over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the butcher wouldn't kill the ox. A little further on she met a rope, so she said, "Rope, rope, hang butcher. Butcher won't kill ox. Ox won't drink water. Water won't quench fire. Fire won't burn stick. Stick won't beat dog. Dog won't bite pig. Piggy won't get over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the rope wouldn't hang the butcher. A little further on she met a rat, so she said, "Rat, rat, gnaw rope. Rope won't hang butcher. Butcher won't kill ox. Ox won't drink water. Water won't quench fire. Fire won't burn stick. Stick won't beat dog. Dog won't bite pig. Piggy won't get over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the rat wouldn't gnaw the rope. A little further on she met a cat, so she said, "Cat, cat, kill rat. Rat won't gnaw rope. Rope won't hang butcher. Butcher won't kill ox. Ox won't drink water. Water won't quench fire. Fire won't burn stick. Stick won't beat dog. Dog won't bite pig. Piggy won't get over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight." But the cat said to her, "If you will go to yonder cow and fetch me a saucer of milk, I will kill the rat." So away went the old woman to the cow. But the cow refused to give the milk unless the old woman first gave her a handful of hay. So away went the old woman to the haystack, and she brought the hay to the cow. When the cow had eaten the hay, she gave the old woman the milk, and away she went with it in a saucer to the cat. As soon as it had lapped up the milk, the cat began to kill the rat began to gnaw the rope began to hang the butcher began to kill the ox began to drink the water began to quench the fire began to burn the stick began to beat the dog began to bite the pig, the little pig, in a fright, jumped over the stile, and so the old woman did get home that night.
I'm going to read you another poem. There were three sisters. There were three sisters, fair and bright, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary. And they three loved one valiant knight, as the dew flies over the mulberry tree. The eldest sister let him in, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary, and barred the door with a silver pin, as the dew flies over the mulberry tree. The second sister made his bed, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary, and placed soft pillows under his head as the dew flies over the mulberry tree. The youngest sister, fair and bright, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary, was resolved for to wed with this valiant knight, as the dew flies over the mulberry tree. And if you can answer questions 3, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary, oh then, fair maid, I will marry thee, as the dew flies over the mulberry tree. What is louder than a horn, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary? And what is sharper than a thorn, as the dew flies over the mulberry tree? Thunder is louder than a horn, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary. And hunger is sharper than a thorn, as the dew flies over the mulberry tree. What is broader than the way, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary? And what is deeper than the sea, as the dew flies over the mulberry tree? Love is broader than the way, Jennifer, Gentle, and Rosemary. And hell is deeper than the sea, as the dew flies over the mulberry tree. And now, fair maid, I will marry thee. And I never want to say Jennifer, Gentle and Rosemary ever again. Okay? But you know, when it comes to reading poems and stories to the kids out there, you cannot lose. You can't lose. Everything like that is good for your little brains. It's true. And you know, who am I to say? But I've got an activity idea that you can do with your mummies and daddies and aunties and uncles, other grown-ups at your home, okay? So all you adults out there, listen up. Maybe even if you don't have kids and you go and visit your brother or sister who does have kids, you can do this. And I'm calling it drawing the story. First, you need a fairy tale. And all fairy tales are actually cool. And they're actually really clever. And they're good for adults because you can try and use your brain to figure out what the fairy tale means. So you need a fairy tale, okay? And you're going to read the fairy tale to the kids because young children, you know, children that are 3 years old, they can't read, okay? So you're going to read it for them. Then, when you just finish the story, you go straight into doing some drawing. That's it. You don't have to draw anything in particular, but you can draw the fairy tale. And that's it. And if you're going to sit down and draw as an adult, well, you see what comes up in the conversation. That's it. And you can take note of what comes out onto the page. And that might be a whole nother fairy tale told in one picture with its own meaning and with its own little message for you or for everyone there in the room. It's true. That's why I'm a crazy guy and I do this stuff. Because I want other people to experience it. Thanks for listening to The Secret Kindergarten. Remember, I do love you. And we'll see you at the next one.